Olympic Stadium of Montreal is one of the most infamous stadiums ever built. Built for the 1976 Olympics, it was to serve as the home of the Montreal Expos of the MLB afterward. When it was built, this stadium's architecture appeared ahead of its time. However, it was anything but. This is Olympic Stadium, the endless money pit. Olympic Stadium was built from 1973 to 76, hosting many of the main events of the 1976 Summer Olympics. It was not without much delay and expense though, as a combination of overruns on expenses, harsh winters, and labor strikes led to the venue not even being completely finished in time for the Olympics. Two of the signature features of the venue, its retractable roof, the first of its kind in the world, and its 578-foot tower were not finished until the late 1980s. At this point, the stadium had cost 1.1 billion Canadian. In 1980s dollars, adjusting for inflation and exchange rate, that's well over 2 billion US dollars today. And this was during an era where even dome stadiums were much cheaper than they are today. When that amount of money is spent, the belief is that you would get a quality venue, but this was not the case. Over the years, the stadium would have portions collapse onto the field and walkways, tears in its roof, and issues with snow and ice falling through the roof. The roof, though retractable when finished, was only used as such for a short period of the stadium's history due to the problems that it had. Despite it being replaced in the late 1990s, after which it would not be retractable anymore, the issues persisted, and the stadium's viability as a baseball venue began to be called into question. The playing surface, like the roof, was also terrible, with notoriously hard AstroTurf and poorly padded outfield walls. Demands for replacements began in the 90s. However, costs up to that point for the existing stadium made that unlikely. The Expos began a long period of poor play and were nearly eliminated by the league in the 2001 contraction attempt. This did not happen though, due to litigation from the other team set to be eliminated, the Minnesota Twins. For the contraction to work, 2 teams needed to be eliminated to avoid an odd number of teams. This only bought the Expos time though, and shortly afterward the team was sold by ownership to Major League Baseball, essentially being a setup maneuver for a move to another city. The team's lack of profitability at Olympic caused many home games of the final 2 years to be played in Puerto Rico. The MLB also did not try to make the team competitive in its final years, even though they had improved some on the field. The team left for Washington, D.C. after the 2004 season to become the Nationals, and it was at this point Montreal was left with a poor and aging venue with no primary tenant, outside of a few Montreal Alouettes games a year. A second replacement of the roof has been discussed, as the existing roof is so fragile it is considered unsafe to have events when rain and snow are heavy. It is so bad that it is torn over 7,000 times. Despite all of the issues, expenses, and it not even being considered in an ideal location of Montreal, another $250 million was approved to again replace the roof, as it was estimated that it would cost even more money just to tear the stadium down. The continuous modifications, renovations, and repairs have made this venue an endless money pit, adding hundreds of millions of dollars to the stadium's cost over its life. So why is this stadium such a money pit? Its poorly designed roof was simply too far ahead of its time, especially with its method of moving the roof using cables connected to the tower. Its unnecessary extras, such as the mechanical roof and its tower, added much in cost, and the constant damage it sustained added even more. It is one of the worst stadiums ever built, and one of the most expensive. It is not even usable during the worst weather, which is kind of the whole point of having a dome in the first place. The stadium remains to this day, and so do the ever-expanding costs. Thank you for watching.